Let me tell you how my Tuesday morning went off the rails before most people even had their first cup of coffee. No, seriously, if you think your HOA stories are wild, just wait till you hear this one, because it all started with me, half asleep, in my garage, wearing nothing but a pair of basketball shorts and a stupid grin, sampling my latest batch of double IPA. Picture it, sun barely up, the neighborhood dead quiet, and me feeling like I'm living the dream, when suddenly this neon green Prius comes fishtailing up my driveway, so hard it sounds like Vin Diesel is about to hop out. Except nope, it's Karen. And I don't mean just any Karen. She's got the full HOA uniform, visor, clipboard, that weird kind of sunblock only HOA presidents wear, and she's already screaming about how my illegal moonshine operation is single-handedly sinking property values and making the cul-de-sac smell worse than a weed dispensary on a hot day. You know what I mean? She's waving these printouts like she's Moses descending from the mountain, only it's just TTB regulations she got off Google, and she's threatening to have the feds raid my garage before lunch. I'm just standing there, 8 ounces of home brew in hand, thinking, lady, this is my Tuesday hobby, not The Sopranos. But she's already speed dialing the alcohol and tobacco tax and trade bureau, voice climbing 3 octaves as she starts rattling off words like unlicensed distillation and organized crime ring. I'm honestly laughing until about 20 minutes later when 2 black SUVs actually pull into my driveway. Yeah, that happened. My heart just drops. I'm barefoot, there's yeast on my hands, and suddenly I'm convinced I'm about to go viral for all the wrong reasons. 2 agents in Teat B windbreakers step out, all business, while Karen's lurking behind them, arms crossed, and smirking so hard it looks like she just won the HOA Mega Millions. One of them asks, "Sir, are you the owner of this residence?" And I can already see myself in orange picking out my prison nickname. He flips open a folder while Karen cranes her neck like she's about to witness history. The agent says, "We received a citizen complaint about an unlicensed commercial brewery, and we're here to finish your inspection." Now, I've never filed for anything commercial in my life, never even filled out a census. I'm sputtering, trying to explain it's just a hobby, but his partner's already in my garage measuring fermenters and taking photos like he's the star of some homebrew edition of Fixer Upper. Karen's over there nodding like she's at her kid's graduation. I'm sweating bullets, tasting pennies, convinced I'm about to lose my house over the smell of Citra hops. And then the lead agent looks up from his tablet and drops this absolute bomb. "Mr. Patel, your online application for a federal brewer's permit was approved 3 weeks ago. We just needed the final site visit." For a second, the world stops. Karen's smirk freezes like someone just hit pause on her whole life. I'm standing there in shorts, yeast all over my hands, and suddenly it dawns on me. I must have applied for a commercial license in my sleep. Maybe during that fever dream when I had COVID, who knows. The agent cracks a smile, an actual human smile. Hand me a freshly printed Teat Beef Brewer's notice signed and dated that morning, and says, "Congratulations, you're now legally authorized to produce up to 50,000 barrels a year at this address. Welcome to the industry." You ever shake a federal agent's hand while it's still sticky with yeast? Me neither, but now I have. Karen's filming the whole thing on her phone, looking like she just saw her own ghost. I turn to her, wave my brand new federal license, and say, "So, you want a tasting flight? Or are you going to keep calling the cops on my 100% legal business?" She actually drops her visor, storming back to her Prius, muttering about state liquor boards. And that, my friend, is how the most notorious busybody in the subdivision accidentally turned my weekend hobby into a fully licensed commercial craft brewery in under half an hour. But let me tell you, that was just the opening act. Because if you know anything about Karens, you know they don't go quietly, they respawn. 3 days later, I'm outside, pressure washing the yeast off my driveway, just enjoying the peace, when a flatbed truck rumbles and hauling this massive, bright blue shipping container with Karen's Craft Corner glitter vinyled on the side. The driver drops it 3 inches onto my property, right where my delivery trucks need to turn around. Karen slaps a handwritten sign on it. "Future HOA-approved neighborhood gift shop. No alcohol allowed." I'm still holding the pressure washer like a rifle and go, "Karen, that's my land." She smiles that frozen, pageant queen smile, and says, according to the county plat map for 1987, that's common area, sweetie. And the HOA bylaws say no commercial vehicles over 10,000 pounds. She points at my future delivery van. Never mind, it's not even here yet. Just protecting property values. By sunset, she's installed motion-activated sprinklers on the container, soaking anyone who comes close. That night, my Ring camera catches her in a headlamp, zip-tying fake security cameras to the roof for the children's safety. Next morning, the whole neighborhood gets a blast email titled, Danger, Unlicensed Brewery Attracting Criminal Element, with blurry night photos of my garage, red circles and all, captioned like I'm the local Walter White. So I figure, fine, I'll get a survey, settle the line, end of story. Except, get this, the only licensed surveyor within 50 miles is suddenly booked for 6 months. Why? Because Karen prepaid every slot in cash, locking out everyone else. She literally bought all the surveyors. That's when she goes nuclear. It's a Friday night, 11 p.m. I'm labeling my first official batch, named it Karen's Tears IPA, when a convoy pulls up, 2 unmarked vans, a pickup, and Karen in the passenger seat of a beat-up police Tahoe. Out jump 6 guys in black polos labeled Code Enforcement Task Force. They start slapping bright red cease and desist. Immediate shutdown, stickers all over my garage. Karen's filming on a gimbal, like she's making a Netflix doc. One of them even starts hooking a chain to my roll-up door. I come flying out in flip-flops, waving my TTB license, yelling, "This is federal." The head guy, wraparound shades at night, says this only covers production, not zoning. City ordinance. No manufacturing in R1 residential. Karen's grinning so hard I'm worried she's going to pull something. They're literally about to yank my garage open when an old F-150 comes fishtailing in. Out steps Big Mike, my neighbor. Retired Marine, 6 feet 5 inches, built like a fridge with anger issues. He's got a manila folder and the look of a man who's about to ruin someone's day. "Y'all got a warrant for that?" he asks. Buzzcut guy laughs. Private property enforcement doesn't need one. Mike calmly opens the folder, hands over a single page, and says, "Then you won't mind reading paragraph 14 of the city's contract with your company." And suddenly, the entire code enforcement crew looks like they just got served a divorce court. Buzzcut's face drains, he mutters into his radio, and within 60 seconds, the whole convoy peels out like they just robbed a bank. Karen's left standing there in the middle of the street, still filming, but she looks like someone canceled Christmas. Mike turns to me, grinning. "Your boy submitted the zoning variance packet the same day you got your TTB approval. Anonymous donor paid the expedite fee. City Council just stamped it. Effective immediately, your garage is legally light industrial. Congratulations, you're the only house in the state with a brewery in the living room." Karen screams, an actual movie scream, stomps back to her shipping container. And just then, we hear this slow hissing sound. Every single tire on her flatbed is flat. Someone, I'm not saying who, jammed Citra hot pellets in the valve stems. The smell is incredible. I figure, okay, surely now she'll give up. But oh no. The very next weekend, she comes back with her piece de resistance, a priest, a marching band, and, no joke, a cease and desist from the Vatican. It's Saturday, 6:47 a.m. I'm barely alive after bottling 300 cases of Karen's Tears IPA when I hear a trumpet, then a tuba, then an entire 30-piece marching band in purple robes marching down the street, blaring, when the saints go marching in like it's Mardi Gras. Leading them is Karen, in a white bedsheet toga, a cardboard miter painted gold, and carrying a 10-foot cross made from pool noodles. Behind her, 20 neighbors chanting purity, purity, and swinging incense burners they probably got at Dollar Tree. 2 drones are overhead holding a banner. Exorcism of the Devil's Brew. Live at 7 a.m. I step outside, still in boxers and Crocs, clutching a bottle of beer. Karen locks eyes with me. Hand me this giant parchment scroll, red wax seal, and everything. I unroll it. It's a papal bull, on fancy paper, declaring my brewery an abomination unto the Lord, demanding closure by order of Pope Francis. The signature is in Comic Sans. I'm losing it. Until a legit Catholic priest steps up, collar, rosary, the works. For a second I panic. Did she really call the Vatican? The priest clears his throat and, loud enough for the neighborhood, says, Mrs. Whitmore, forging Vatican documents is a felony under canon and civil law. The Diocese of Phoenix has already called the FBI. Karen goes pale as mayonnaise. The marching band just stops. You hear the tuba player mutter, oh. And then, second wave, white box truck backs into my driveway, blasting Sweet Caroline. Out rolls a 10-foot inflatable version of me, wearing a crown of hops, holding a beer, chest emblazoned Patel Pale Ale, blessed by the gods. 50 cases of limited edition cans get unloaded, labels I never designed. They show Karen kneeling in her visor, me pouring beer over her head like a baptism. Caption, forgiveness tastes hoppy. Half the neighbors are filming. The other half, Karen's cult, start clapping. Karen tries to run, but the band circles her like a flash mob gone wrong. The priest is reading her rights off his phone, while two black sedans with government plates pull up. Actual FBI. Turns out, if you fax forged papal bulls to every parish in the state, Secret Service gets curious. Protecting the Pope's identity is technically their job. The agents cuff Karen while she's still screaming, "This isn't over. I'll burn it all down." One of them says, calm as anything, "Ma'am," threatening to commit arson on a federally licensed brewery adds 10 years. 2 weeks later, my garage brewery, now named ST, Karen's Tears Brewing, is the top-rated new spot in Arizona. The inflatable me's on the roof, tourists take selfies, the marching band plays Nearer My God to Thee at every release party, and the limited forgiveness can sold out in 6 minutes. We donated it all to the local Little League, which was, by the way, Karen's old team. Now it's called Redemption Park. Karen? 3 years probation, 500 hours community service, and court order to hand out free samples at my tap room every first Saturday. She comes in her visor and ankle monitor, pouring flights for tourists who want selfies. Hasn't smiled once. Last I heard, she's appealing to the Supreme Court. Good luck with that, Your Holiness. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the craziest Karen in HOA history accidentally turned my side hustle into a 7-figure brewery and became my most loyal, if unwilling, employee. And if there's one thing you take away from this, it's never mess with a home brewer who's got good neighbors, a printer, and absolutely zero chill. Now, let's stir the pot. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved, or did the neighborhood go too far? Ever had your own battle with a HOA legend? Drop your wildest stories or opinions below. Let's debate what justice really means, because trust me, I'm always down for a good neighborly showdown. And hey, hit subscribe, tap that bell because the next story? Oh, it's even crazier. See you there.